Venom-proof cages. They provide a quality and safety that is unmatched. They are handcrafted and great for venomous and non-venomous snakes. They have a lockable hide box. Keep your snakes in style. Go to Facebook or Instagram and look up venom-proof cages to place your order. Protect yourself, protect your snake, and protect our hobby. Welcome to the show. This is Big Reptile Talk, and we have none other than the queen herself, Lori Barchek, in the building. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Let Let me tell you something. You don't need an introduction, but I'm gonna give you an introduction to myself. So I'm Derek. I just started my podcast, and I started watching some of my friends' podcasts. I started watching the Iron Animal show. I started watching the P&E show, and then I ended up watching this show called Trot Talk,
Okay.
and with MJ. And I followed the Instagram, and I started watching MJ, and I'm like, this dude is doing it right. He's hanging out in his reptile room
Yeah.
and he's hanging out with the dopest people in the industry. I want to do that. And I started reaching out to people and I'm like, they were giving me a chance. I'm like, this is amazing. MJ is a legend. So I was like, I started reaching out to everybody that I just thought was amazing in the hobby. And I said, let me reach out to Miss Barchek. Do you know why I reached out to you?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna tell you why. I reached out to you because, and I'm gonna tell you why. To me, you're dope. You're more amazing than a free handler, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean. Any Anybody that supports they partner's passion as much as you do, you're amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Because I watched his MJ's interview with you, and it was like you were like, no, I didn't even like snakes. Brian had to bring you into it.
Yep.
Now, now
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Okay.
If Brian would have came to you and he said, because we're gonna have fun today. If he would have came to you and he said, "Baby, I don't want to do reptiles," he said, "But I think I can be bigger than Michael Jackson. I want to drop an album." Would you have still supported him?
Um, Honestly, probably. It really, obviously, that's the thing. I didn't have that draw for reptiles, but I'm a firm believer in chasing your dreams, and trying. And if I felt honestly that, that he had any type of talent and wanted to do it, like, let's be honest, I will be real. Like, well, I will be real. Brian can't sing. So if he really did come to me with that dream, I'd be like, "Hon, probably get another dream." But if he did have talent, I would say absolutely, let's try and do it. I've had the same, thoughts, and conversations with my kids. Like, you know what, go ahead and try it. And honestly, if it looks like it's not your thing, I'm going to be like, yeah, maybe try something else. Like, I'm not going to blow smoke, but I will support you.
you you know something? I've noticed that everybody around you is you got a good energy, and I'm gonna tell you something. Everybody around you is pursuing their dreams. Like you've pushed Brian to pursue the Reptarium, and I noticed that Noah is pursuing comedy. Did you kind of have a hand in that? Were you like, son, if you want to do comedy, go do that?
Absolutely. I believe that too. And same with our daughter. She did a different path with, college and business. And same thing. I really do. I think I've realized that in a world where you have to make so many choices, and a lot of times at the age and time you're clueless and have nothing to do, and you kind of get pigeonholed and stuff. A lot of people live a life of, sadness, misery, what if, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Um, and the reality is, you know, instead of having regrets, try it. And worst case scenario, it didn't happen, but at least you tried, instead of going your whole life going, man, maybe I could have had a great restaurant. Maybe I could have done this and that, So, and that's kind of why I feel like it, because it's better to try and fail than to literally never put yourself out there.
I
That's just my thought and motto.
I love that. Just like I said, you push Brian to pursue his dreams. You push your daughter and his son to pursue his dreams. Now, what's one of your dreams that you're actively pursuing right now?
I mean, I don't think I have anything solo, just myself, that I am. Um, and I'm not really sure. I'm sure there probably will be some things maybe that I will put myself into. Um, I'm at a point now where I'm very busy, just because of all the businesses and stuff that we have, which I also enjoy. So just I do enjoy working with the animals. I love the Reptarium, everything that stands for, being involved in all these things. So it's not like, I hate any of that. Um, I enjoy running businesses and doing stuff like that too. But I think, I may or may not. I'm trying to figure things out to get a little bit maybe more personal time to maybe just do a few things. I don't necessarily, not anything like ambitious as far as achieving whatever, but just maybe doing crafts, or you know what I mean, any type of thing for enjoyment. Not to get famous or make money, just for enjoyment. That's kind
Right?
of where I'm at in my life.
Hey, I love that answer. I love that answer. And I feel like anything that you do pursue, you're going to be great at it. Now,
Oh, well,
I
thank you.
I watched MJ's podcast, and I noticed that you said before you met Brian, you weren't really into animals. He kind of introduced you to him to where he was like, touch that, and you were like, okay, huh. Now, do you remember the first animal that Brian introduced you to? He was like, here, baby, just touch it.
Uh, so gosh, it's a while. But going back when he still lived with his mom, he had he had a couple. What were they? I think he had nothing huge, but I think he had a few like mid-size berms, maybe a rock python, something like that. Because he had a wall and he had like a few bigger cages, but then he had some smaller stuff like some corn snakes. And actually, one I do remember was Solomon Island boa. He had got a gravid female, and then she had babies. So I do remember that because they I thought they were really cool. um, so he definitely started probably with something smaller because, like I said, when we first started, dating, I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. But I wouldn't even go in the room. I was like, no. I grew up in the city. I grew up in Detroit. There's no snakes there. So I'm a city girl. And it wasn't from fear of anything that happened. It was a fear of ignorance. Like, you know what I mean? I just never was around it. So I'm like, I don't know about that.
So, most people, they start off touching like a corn snake, touching a ball python, but Mr. Brian was so far into the hobby. Your first snake that you touched was like a Solomon Island ground boa.
Yeah, I remember. Like I said, it was pretty neat. He was like a real light tan color, and we called him Theodore. And it was a pretty neat animal. And we've had a lot of things. Like, I think way back then, like, things would just come in, and most of the time it was things that were imported, because people weren't breeding a whole lot. So whatever came in through all these exporters, importers, it's like, what can I get? So we were able to have a lot of really crazy cool things back in those days.
Right?
Or things that were there and that now are more common.
Right.
So
Now, with you and Mr. Brian running the Reptarium, y'all living y'all dream, and I love that. Tell me some of the stuff you do there. I know you do the gift shop. What else some of the other stuff that you do there?
Um, you know, really, my position and everything is almost more, I guess, like a general manager. I just make sure everything runs right. That I got everybody in the positions that they need to be in, making sure that everybody is doing the jobs they're supposed to be doing. And Brian and I work together about talking about what kind of animals we have, what kind of changes or additions we want to make, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I do the gift shop. I'm having fun with that. That's a lot of fun. And I work with Jay, our animal educator, with Drogo the sloth too. So I help him with that.
Right.
But I just, yeah, I don't know. Somebody had said it to me not too long ago that visited. I never really thought about it before, but the reality is I pretty much have my hand in everything. Like
you running it.
Yeah, and I guess it's almost without thinking. I don't consciously do it, but that's just how it operates.
Right. Now, with you being at the Reptarium so much, is there any animal there that you won't touch? You're just like, nope, I'll let you guys take care of that. Is there something that you just won't handle?
Um, hmm. There's probably a couple things. First thing that comes to mind is the crocodile monitor. Obviously, he's still young and he's came stride, so far since we've got him. But I stay in my lane with stuff like that. I'm not gonna, be all wild and crazy. I'm not gonna be the one that tames the beast. you know, Once you're cool and I know it's all right, then we'll. Even with our crazy animal stuff anywhere, like I always see the potential of what could happen, or issues and stuff like that. I don't know if it's a mom thing, if it's a woman thing. So that's where my mind goes, and that's how I make my decisions.
Right. Now, with you working there, from one of the animals, what's the worst bite you ever took, to where you're like, oh no, what's the worst bite you ever took?
I've got bit a lot over the years. We've got so I've got some bites from some pretty big berms and retics because we've done a lot of those. So that's up there. But sometimes you can get some bad bites from other things too, even like colubrids. I was just telling our one worker a story because I was working down the one aisle, and I don't even think it was feeding day. He was spot cleaning, and this corn snake just jumped out of the cage and got him like on his neck, like because it was coming out mouth open. And I was like, oh my God, like what did you even do? Like that is not normal for a corn snake. But yet I was telling him a story. One of my most hated bites was we got some bull snakes in years ago. And I've always yelled at Brian at the rack systems because personally, I don't think you should make them taller than yourself. I don't care how much more room it gives you. Trying to work in something that's taller than you is dumb, So I was pulling the tub out to try to, clean it. As I pulled it out, it dove out, grabbed my neck, and literally latched onto my neck. And I was so angry, and it wouldn't let go. And finally I got it off, and I'm bleeding everywhere, and I was saying lots of not nice things. It wasn't a hurt. Well, it did hurt when they did it, but as far as the damage, but I was so mad. And then I walked around with this big old mark on my neck for like a week because it got me so good. But
So you mean to tell me you was walking, a snake jumped out and bit you on the neck?
oh yeah, like I said, you're opening a tub that you can't see because it's taller. So you're sliding out a Rubbermaid, and as you open it, you don't see it coming. He just dove right down, open mouth, and grabbed my neck before I even realized what was happening. Like
That
I
is
was so mad.
that is hilarious. Hilarious, yet scary. Now, with y'all being so successful, you and Brian. Now, for me, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, you opened up the Reptarium. Y'all doing y'all editions. I'm not gonna lie. If I was successful as y'all at opening up a Reptarium, I'm about to franchise them out. I'm about to have 75 Reptariums in every single state. So they finna be like McDonald's. Now
Yeah.
I'm curious. Have y'all ever thought? Y'all doing editions right now, but have you guys ever thought about opening up another one somewhere else?
We have had these conversations because Brian is always thinking and dreaming. And originally, that was his thought. I was always like, I'm not sure. And I think that I finally talked him into giving up that thought. And these are my reasons. My reason is, while yes, you can franchise and you can do another one, you lose the ability to control, just like I said, having a hand in it. And if you're not there all the time, you know you're not there to make sure that the experience is right, that the animals are right, that all of this stuff. So at that point, then do you lose part of what you have by trying to thin it out? And then you know what I mean? It changes what you're doing, not being able to have that control on it, because it is really important. That's, the big thing. It's a step beyond any other zoo or, aquarium or whatever like that, because we are so hands-on and interactive and all about giving everybody who walks in the door that amazing experience. That the reality is people like me and Brian, and even a lot of people in the reptile community are able to or have experienced a lot of cool animals, but 99% of the people out there know nothing about it. And even if you see it between a glass, but to be able to interact with some amazing animals is just such a cool experience, to where you're changing somebody's life. They might never in their whole life get to experience anything like this again, and you're able to give them that, and also awaken a little respect and excitement for reptiles too, that may have not existed beyond that. So but like I said, as far as franchising it out, it just makes it harder because of that. I'm scared that it wouldn't be the same.
Right.
So, and that's more
That
important to me than money.
I totally agree with you in that. You smart. That makes sense. Like if you were to franchise it out, y'all can't monitor every single one,
Yeah.
and there are lots of people that just gonna buy into it and not do the stuff that you want them to do.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And for me, especially if it's our name and our business, it's really important. You got to have that level, of expectation, and we don't want to, less than that, because then
Right.
that's a bad reflection.
Right now, with you being at the Reptarium, I want to know what your favorite animal there is. That every day you're there, you're like, I gotta see them before I leave.
So it's probably a tie between two. I mean, there's a lot of cool ones that I like and stuff like that, but my number one slash two, and it can go either way, would be probably Matilda, our Aldabra tortoise, and Drogo, the sloth. You know, um, Obviously they're both very different animals, but I don't know. Ever since that, I've really been introduced to tortoises and stuff like that. I've always loved them, and especially the giant ones. They're so crazy. They're so smart, and it's just on a whole nother level. So to have one like her here is really really cool experience. And then obviously Drogo's a whole nother different experience. As the one and only mammal. I said no more, just one.
now, if I'm ever blessed enough to get Brian to hang out with me, I'm gonna ask him, can we see Drogo the sloth? Because I know that he don't
Oh.
like him. You said that.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, he probably will hang out with you since I did this now, because now he's left out. Now he's like, wait a second.
That's amazing. You better believe I'm gonna send him 10,000 more messages. Now, just everybody in the chat just loves you, and just like this, Laura, you've made a big difference in the reptile world. Like, how does that make you feel, knowing just people look up to you?
I mean, I am so appreciative for that, and it's kind of crazy to me because other than being around for a while, I don't really see myself as that. But I mean, that's really nice that people would say that.
Right.
I don't see myself as that. I know, like, it doesn't feel as long, and I think that's how life goes, right? Every year you go by, it doesn't feel like it. You're like, wasn't everything like 5-10 years ago? Oh shit, that was 30-40, sorry. but I guess as we look at it now, we're some of those that have been in it for a while. So.
Now, my friend Iron Dog, he has a question. He wants to know, are y'all planning on never doing like a venomous room or a venomous section?
So it's something that we've talked about because Brian goes back and forth. I can't see us doing it because the fact, like I said, we're all about interaction. So anything, that we would do to designate the space and time for that would not be anything that you could ever interact with. So to give up the real estate to have something, not that there aren't beautiful animals. Believe me, Brian, we went back and forth because he'd love to have everything. But I think he did agree with me from the standpoint of just, we are limited. And even with expansion, we're still limited. We don't have limitless space. So we have to think about that real estate as what's the best experience for our customers and the people that walk in. So I don't really see that as something because of that. I would rather put something in there that we can take out that the people could interact with and stuff like that.
I love that answer. You're more about bringing that person in and letting them be able to take an animal out, and you can't take a rattlesnake out.
No, not at all. Not at all.
If you do, you're liable to lose an arm now.
Yes. And I mean, I love our workers, and I know we hire very responsible people. But the other thing is, too, is you've got that liability. Because even if you didn't, and a keeper, you know what I mean? Accidents happen. Like I said, I am a very cautious, careful person. When it comes to stuff, I'm not scared of getting bit, but it happens. It happens a lot. And that's, why right from the start, when we even started our collection, he was thinking about getting stuff. And I was like, I would rather not, because if it's going to I don't want to take the chance, so.
That makes like a lot of sense. Now, on all my podcasts, I tell this story. So, and I hope he don't kill me for it, but I had Miguel from Always Evolving Pythons up here. And I asked him, I said, give me a crazy fan story. And I don't know if he told you this story before, but
I don't know.
Because y'all know each other personally, but he was at a reptile expo, and a guy came up to him and was like, hey, you're amazing. You're doing amazing stuff. After this expo, let's go throw some beers back. And Miguel's like, shit, yeah, let's go have some beer. So after the expo, they go and hang out. They throw some beers back. And the guy looks at him. He's like, okay, well, we had beers. Do you want to go up to the room? And Miguel was like, whoa, this ain't that kind of party. Hilarious story. And I tell you that to just lead into the question of, give me a crazy fan story. Somebody running into the reptile. Where's Laura? Where's it? Or even with Brian, do you have any crazy fan stories?
That's a hard one.
Like something that's memorable.
I know. We get a lot of them, but I have to think about stuff I can tell.
What? You have to think about stuff you can tell like that.
Yeah. Well, I just, I appreciate, even though I don't necessarily understand the fan thing, because I don't feel like it's deserved it all. So that in itself is very funny to me, you know, that you get that. But I don't, you know, I appreciate it. And so I wouldn't want to embarrass people either. Like, you know what I mean? But I tell you, I mean, honestly, the weirdest thing is having people come up to me in other places, not reptile related, is really weird. Like, I'm at Five Guys ordering a burger, and out of nowhere, someone's like, "Hey, Lori," and I look over, and I'm like, "Do I know you?" And they're like, "Hey, love the vlog, da 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 da." And I'm like, "Oh, hey," and just spark up random conversations. It happens. Like, it's not so surprising to me with Brian because he gets it more, but I think it's weird with me. And then the one time it was me and my two kids at Chick-fil-A in Grand Rapids, so not even by where we are at all, and they were like, "What?" This was like the first time I think it happened with them, and they're like, "That was so weird." Somebody in the parking lot just comes running up to us.
You know, y'all deserve that because y'all put in so much work. You said that's crazy. Hey, Lauren, you just me.
Exactly. And then I'm looking at them like, "Do I know you?" You know, because it's like, then I'm trying to mentally like put it together, like, "Oh yeah," you know, and it's always great. I love it when they're like, "Oh, I watched the vlog." I'm like, "Okay, good. I don't have to figure out who you are because I don't know who you are."
Right.
Otherwise.
Now, with you being a woman on the forefront of the hobby, have you met any other of the amazing women in the hobby? Who are some of the women in the hobby that you've met? Like for instance, I've brung Savannah Bone on my channel from Gatorland. I've brung up
Oh
Mega
yeah.
Conda. You know, who are some of the women that you've met in the hobby that you really like?
Sure. Yeah, I've met both of those. Um, you know, I'll probably go a little bit back old school. One of my favorites since really day one going to shows is Robbie Hamper. Um, married Don Hamper's wife. They were into reptiles forever, and she still does. She's does amazing things with all her geckos, and she's such a sweetheart and a wealth of knowledge. Um, Amy Zirkle, same thing. They've been around forever. Love them. I miss going to shows because I miss seeing all these people. Kim Bell, you know, Mark and Kim down in Florida. Again, been there forever. Um, um, trying to think. Um, who else? It's funny because again, it's been so long since since I've talked to a lot of people.
Right?
Um,
Those are still some amazing people in the hobby.
yeah. Like I said, the ones that, like I said, we kind of, you know, were in it from the beginning together. You know, Amy Mack, John and Amy Mack from back in the day, same thing. You know, did a ton of stuff and a lot of work. You know, these are all the ones that we were talking back in the days where, you know, there was only so many shows, there was no internet or whatever, and basically you were packing up almost every single weekend and driving to a reptile show to put your, you know, little cups on the table and see what you could sell, and the same people doing the same, you know, transit show to show.
Right. Now, with y'all being so big in the hobby, can you and Brian still do reptile expos, or is just y'all get mobbed too much? It's just way too crazy when y'all go to expos?
So we haven't been in several years. I think more than anything, it wasn't necessarily so much the mob. We just decided to change our direction, you know, from just the BHB reptiles and breeding and selling, and transitioned into the Reptarium. You know, as well as obviously he was doing the YouTube too, but we put our main focus on that. And while we still breed, we're able to fortunately just, you know, sell through the internet and not have to vend. So it saved a lot of time and money and all of that, because it adds up to do these shows. And we just decided after so long to kind of, you know, not cut it off, but change our focus of our lives and stuff like that. And I think we're really happy with it. Not to say, like I said, I think we both miss the camaraderie and the friends that we see. And we probably will pop into a show here and there, not to vend, but just to be there, hang out, see what's cool, talk to people, maybe do the auction, all the things that we miss, not the
Okay.
hard work.
Then that makes sense now. You got to put Brian on the spot. So, and you're the only person that would know this. So,
Okay.
being in the with the Reptarium has, and you there helping him chase his dream. Now, has he ever lied to you about the cost of a snake? Like he's like, baby, I gotta get it. It's only $1,000. I gotta get it. And you was going through an invoice, and it was like $8,000, and you was like, Brian.
Of course that's happened. That's happened more than once over the years. It doesn't happen anymore because I pulled the plug on it. But yeah, it was one of those things like, oh, it's only this much. And then next thing you know, it's like, well, wait a second. Oh, no. I'm like, no. That's not what you said. Well, it's only a little bit more. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. But yes, he has
That is
more
that
than one.
that is hilarious. Now, with y'all having the Reptarium, I want to talk about videos that y'all are doing. I feel like you and Nerd are the same in a sense, and what I mean is y'all both do all y'all videos on site. Have you and Brian ever thought about doing like an outside herping video for the channel? Or it's just like we're so successful showing off the Reptarium, we ain't going nowhere else.
Well, honestly, prior to last year with COVID, he did travel quite a bit to different collections or other places and that kind of stuff. Clearly, that all got shut down. And as this year is opening now, he's got plans to start doing it. Probably, not all of it, but I think it is always good to be able to have a little bit of change of place, a change of scenery. And let's face it, it's fun to go travel and see new things too. So all of the above. That being said, it's been a hard year and a half between just living life and then just the same, you know what I mean? Not being able to do that. So it'll be really nice to be able to add a little bit more of that.
Right now, this is not to brag or boast, but without you even on your Instagram, it's your personal account. You don't even talk about the Reptarium on your Instagram, and
No.
you still have 40,000 people on your Instagram. That's like, I want to see what Lori's doing. Like we going to see Lori. How does that make
I
you
don't even
feel?
know. I don't even know how many followers there are.
For thousands.
It's totally my personal, and it hasn't really gotten used a whole lot recently just because I'm just so busy. But if I think about something here or there, but yeah, no, I it is funny because I do laugh at that because I scroll through and I see that, and I laugh because when I look at pages and followers, I'm just like, yeah, I don't have time for that. Like, put in that effort. I like if I see something funny or if I, have a nice picture. That's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to do what you got to do to, build the following or build the brand. That's just me.
Now, I want to know, Lord forbid something ever happened to y'all, but we not here forever. Y'all are leaving y'all mark on the hobby. Y'all are legends. The king and queen of the hobby. But when let's say y'all were, we Lord forbid passed away. What I feel like they're gonna make a movie. If they were to make the Reptarium the movie, now you know where I'm going. You got to think about this. If they were to make the movie The Reptarium, with the Barcheks,
Oh, Lord.
who's playing Brian and who's playing Lori?
Huh. That's a good question. I don't know.
Anybody in the world.
Let's see. Well, I'm just going to go out there purely because it's someone that I know, and I always admired from. I think she does a good job, and I think she still looks really good. Is I'm going to say I would like Jennifer Aniston to play me because she's what I wish I looked like.
Hey, you beautiful. That don't. Hey, you beautiful.
But Brian, huh? Um, I don't know. You could go the easy one and say Fabio, or you. But I feel like who is a real energetic, like, crazy Brian person? Oh, I don't know.
So, hey, that would be. Hey, I would love to see that. So, we at the movies, the Barcheks, Welcome to the Reptarium, featuring Fabio and Jennifer Aniston. That would be tough. I'd like to see that.
That's funny. He's probably gonna be mad I said that.
Hey, I like it. I like it. I love that. I love that. That's a great answer. I'm glad I asked that. Now, can you talk to us about future animal acquisitions? What is some of the stuff? Because y'all have everything. What is? Give me a sneak peek. You don't have to if you don't want to, but give me a sneak peek. What's something that y'all don't have right now that y'all are working towards getting?
Um, let's see. Well, it's hard to say because if we do, we've got potential plans for a 2/3 phase expansion, and by doing that, at that point, it'll give us more room to be able to, create some enclosures that we need. For some of the animals that are going to outgrow what they have. We would love to get, like our one alligator RJ on display and stuff like that. And then again, our salt and pepper are getting bigger. They're going to need. So by doing that, we can change things around. I know one of his dream animals that he would love, and if it ever works one day, we don't have anything in the works, but he would love to get a Komodo dragon, which would be pretty awesome. Can it happen? I don't know. But it wouldn't be able to happen until we had the room to have what it would need. But I know that's one of his dream animals for sure.
I'm with I'm with Fitz. Y'all should get a hippo.
No. Hell no. But we will have our thoughts are to add some other aquatic things in too, because it would be cool, and again you can get a little bit more touch experience, swim with kind of things. So I know Brian and Noah are trying to shoot for baby otters, but no, that's out. I said no more mammals, but they're really trying for that one.
Right. So I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all are amazing, and I tell you what I mean. So everybody in the industry gets hate from time to time. But here's the thing, for a while, I'm gonna tell you something. People did hate on Brian, but
Yeah.
you know what I've noticed? It's decreased. It's went down. To me, I don't notice it as much.
Good.
And I think that's awesome that he's been able to, make his haters be quiet and not necessarily address them, but you don't like my cages. Look, my cages are the best in the business, or he's been able to decrease the hate, and I just love that. So I want to talk about you. For you, when he did get hate, how did you deal with the hate? Were you just like, were you just like,
yeah. Oh yeah. And this is the thing, and I think anybody who remotely knows me is it's infuriating. I mean, family is family. And you know what I mean? And when people mess with your family, that's poking a bear. That's not okay. And that's been me my whole life. Growing up, I was not a bully, but when people bullied my family, I was the first to jump and kick your ass because you don't mess with my family. So I always found it really funny, the people that had a lot to say, but literally would never say anything to your face. They'd kiss your ass to your face and then say the most horrible, hateful things, behind your back. And so, because the reality is the reptile community is not this vast thing. You know, when certain people are saying things, who says what. So while you can pretend to be whatever, it always comes back, the shit that you're doing behind people's back. So to think that it's not, to me, is always humorous. I'm glad for him that in the beginning and all of that, it was really hard for him. And he had a really hard time and took all that stuff really personal. When, the reality is when people do stuff like that, especially unwarranted, you really, to survive, you have to realize, it's one thing if you are doing terrible things and people call you out on it, then you need to be like, oh shit, I need to fix this. But when people are making up lies and spreading stuff that's not true, he took that to heart. And that's what I was, and I'm sitting there watching, what it was doing to him. And I'm so glad that he was finally able to realize this doesn't need to affect me because it's not true and it doesn't matter,
Right.
And I think that's when things kind of plateaued and then started to go away, much like, honestly, again, raising my kids with bullies or people who say stuff. That's exactly what I would say is, if somebody says something and it's not true, ignore it. Walk away. Don't engage with it, because you know what? If you're ignoring it and they can't bother you with it, they're not going to do it because they're not getting what they want out of it, And I think it's the same thing there. Um, Especially like you said, I do laugh because obviously I see stuff. I see other people's videos. I see their pictures and their setups and stuff like that. And for all the things people were crucifying us for, 99.9% of everybody else in the hobby have the exact same cages. So how are we being crucified for something that is the industry standard? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. But this person is a god to be praised, and you're the devil for having exactly the same cage.
Right.
Like, so like I said, for me, all it does is make me angry. And I'll always say it. I don't care. I don't care if someone's going to get butt hurt because I'm going to call you out on the bullshit, because if that's who you're going to be, then you need to get called out for it. Where Brian's a little nicer than I am.
Right. Now, the reason I asked about that, and I'm not gonna lie, I hope this doesn't offend you, but I told my lady, because the minute I got the confirmation you were coming on my show, I'm running around my house. I'm running around my house. And I was coming up with questions, and I was like, I want to address the hate, and I'm gonna tell you why I wanted to address the hate. I said,
Yeah.
because as I look at Lori's Instagram, and that, like I said, they don't get as much hate as they used to get. To me, they don't. But I said, as I look at Lori's Instagram, she's in that gym, and I said, Lori's fit. I said, Lori look like she don't play. And I'm like, if somebody did say something, Lori look like she'll whoop somebody's ass.
I would.
And I said, and I say that I was like, I said, honey, I gotta ask her. You in that gym? What you benching?
Oh gosh. All right. So I'm the worst with this. Okay. I don't go there to have the PRs and stuff like that. I just don't pay attention to it. That's why I still work out with a trainer, because for me, that it's my release. That's when I go and I'm getting away for stuff. It's also obviously for the benefit, because for my health, but I don't want to think about things. So even to the point, as terrible as it is, like, you got different size plates on there, but there's little ones, there's big ones. I don't know. I can't remember like what they are. So I can tell you I'm a woman, so my bench is not going to probably be impressive, but I have a pretty good deadlift or a squat.
Hey,
So
hey, impressive or not, when I seen them guns, I said, Lori ain't playing. She got them guns.
No, I don't play. And then, like you said, I've always been a reaction versus thinking first. And like I said, when it comes to defending or standing up for someone I care about, it is more reaction, punch first, talk later kind of thing. So if someone ever did have the balls to say something, that would probably be what would happen, regardless of sex. Like,
Right.
because I just don't care.
now, now this ain't really necessarily a question, but could I give you a video idea to give to Brian for y'all for the YouTube?
Sure.
I think that this would blow up, and I'm not sure if y'all done it or not because I'm fairly new to the hobby. But I think this will blow up because, so for instance, like y'all sell snakes, and nerds sell snakes. I feel like y'all should get on YouTube and have like a competition, like you get Brian to make a good thumbnail, and he, in that video he call Kevin. He's like, hey, this month I'm gonna sell 800 snakes. And if I sell 800 snakes and I beat you, you gotta buy me a $400 lobster. But if you sell like 805 snakes, I gotta buy you 30 steaks for your stab. I think that'd be hard. And y'all just hustle, for the whole video, y'all hustling, selling snakes, y'all on that phone, you need some snake, I think that would be tough. A competition between the Reptarium and Nerd.
I'm not against that, but this is me because this is who I am. So I feel like Kevin would cheat. So I wouldn't trust his numbers.
You said, you ain't no way you sold 850 snakes, Kevin.
I need to be able to verify these numbers because I know you're a liar.
That is funny. Now, so I brung Noah on my podcast, and I asked him, I was like, y'all have an amazing collection at the Reptarium, and I was like, tell me about y'all personal collection at the house. And he was like, my parents don't have reptiles at the house. And I was like, I can understand that. And because you don't want to take work home. You want to leave work at work and come home and have that family life. Now, I want to ask you, is there any other animals other than that big ass dog? Like, and I feel like you strike me as somebody that like, you're like, Brian, we're off today. Let's go ride some horses.
I haven't ever ridden a horse, and we just talked about this like a couple weeks ago, and he said the same thing, and he was like, I haven't either. We should do that one day.
So what animals do y'all have? Any other animals other than your dogs?
No. So the reason why that was, obviously it started from everything being in our home before we got our first building, and then we moved some stuff and still had the basement filled for years and years until we got our really big building where everything moved out, and even at that point we did still have some pet reptiles at home, but the reality is it wasn't so much of leaving work at work, is we spent more time at work than we did at home, so the animals got better care being at work than they did at home from just the maintenance and stuff like that. So at that point, any pets that we or the kids would have just moved to work because it made more sense. And anything other than that, like I said, when the kids were little, hamster or this or that. But for me, I'm good with my dogs. So, and that's pretty much, where we keep, as far as pets at home.
Right. I know, because I was watching that podcast that you did with MJ, and all I heard was, woo, woo, woo. I said, what was that? That thing sound like it. I said, this sound like a big dog. I said, what did she feed that dog? People?
Oh God! So I have a Great Dane and a German Shepherd. So I got two big dogs, yes, and they're very loud.
So I said, somebody go up in the Lori house, they getting their ass bit off.
Oh yeah, no, I am never ever afraid of anyone breaking into my house because you'd be a fool. Like
right now. With the Reptarium, oh, that's my lady right there. She said she absolutely hated and scared of snakes. It took being around them and knowing they can't get out to help. And just she looks like to look through the glass and learn how cool and impressive they are. Yes, they are, honey. Yeah. What was I about to say? I lost my train of thought. Okay, Brian is so big in the hobby. He's brung so many people to the Reptarium. You know, some of the biggest in the game. Kevin, always evolving pythons. That's cool. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about who is somebody that you personally would like to see come to the Reptarium in the future. And I mean anybody, you know, such like Shaq. You know, Shaq visits Gatorland all the time. Who is somebody that you want to come to the Reptarium?
Oh gosh, that's a hard one because I laugh about this. While I like, I like different people and this and that.
Oh, did we lose her? Oh shucks, we lost you, Lori. Did we lose you? Oh, we lost you. I don't know if you hear. Um, Maybe leave and come back if you can. We almost done. Oh, she left and come back. I'm sure she'll be back. While we're here, thank you everybody in the chat. We're not done. I got a few more questions. She probably just froze up for a second, but man, I appreciate everybody in the chat, man. Iron Dog, My Animal House, Sherry, Trappier, My Lady, DNG Reptiles, Kurtwood. Let's see, Tavian's World of Reptiles, Sherry, everybody in the chat, Reptile Feeding, Celtic Balls, Joe Venom, Joe Cold Blooded, Sherry, Sola, everybody, man. I appreciate y'all, man. This has definitely been a fun prehistoric companions. Hopefully she'll come back in here because we don't have much longer, you know, ask her a few more questions. But this has been a blast, man. Definitely a fun interview. Okay, there she is. There you are. We're almost.
Okay, my phone got too hot and shut itself down. So I'm sorry.
Oh, we're almost okay. Well, we're almost done. We'll finish up. I forgot the now. I know this. So, who is somebody that you would like to bring to the Reptarium for yourself?
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's what I was saying is, for me, it's funny because I don't have a whole lot of these like superstars. Like, oh my God, I just got to meet this person. But I would probably say, and again, I don't know. Oops, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Take your time.
I'm trying to. I had to take the cover off, so I'm trying to prop it up.
Take your time.
Does that work? All right. There we go. Okay, that works. And I got a fan on it. Hopefully that'll help. So one person, I think Brian has said it, and I agree too, is Betty White would be amazing. And for the fact that apparently she also loves reptiles. So she would enjoy being there and she would be an icon to meet. Um, so obviously her. Another person that I've always loved just from an entertainment standpoint is Adam Sandler. I don't know if he likes reptiles or not, but I think he'd be a funny person to meet.
I would love to see him hanging out with y'all. That would be hilarious. Now, I hope you're ready to have some fun. And
Okay.
what I mean by that is, and I don't want to say clickbait, so I won't say that. I will say that you and Brian have mastered the art of thumbnail making. Like some of the faces y'all make is hilarious. And I want to, I want to do something like he just.
I, yeah, I know it's ridiculous. I don't know what happened. I lost you. I think you just thumbnailed yourself right out of the picture.
Okay, so have you coached him? Have you taught him? Who comes up with these faces, man?
Listen, that is between him and like our social media person who's been working with us forever. Noah, actually, the last year or so has really been working with him, thumbnails and stuff. That's the people that live and breathe YouTube, because the reality is that that's a huge part of it, whether people like it or not. The thumbnail and the clickbait, that's what gets people to click your videos, whether you like it or not. So yeah, the people who live and breathe that stuff are the ones who get together and make these decisions. It is not me. And I don't even look, because when I do look, I hate the faces that they do with my face. And I'm like, Jesus, could you make me look any uglier, any stupider? I did not. I have said multiple times, I need to sign off on these, and I never have signed off on one. So
I love it. Now, we ain't got to do 10 of them. Can we do one right now, right quick? I'll do one with you. Can we do one?
Okay.
I'm using that as the thumbnail. That's gonna be my thumbnail. Now, talk to me. Because with Brian having millions and millions of subscribers, you were there when he hit his first 100,000. Can you tell me what it was like when he received that play button?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like, it's such an accomplishment, to do that. And anybody who is doing YouTube understands, like, this is not easy. You put a lot of work and effort regardless of how many views you get. Like, nobody is doing it without some effort. And some put way more than others, but it doesn't matter. So when you are able to achieve, one of those statuses and actually get recognized by YouTube, like, that's huge, and yeah, it is super exciting.
When he got that YouTube plaque, did he run around the Reptarium? Honey, look.
I think I'm trying to remember. I think yes, I think obviously the first one was super exciting, but I think that last one he got was a lot. Like, yes, that one meant a lot to him, and he was he's not one to do whatever, but he definitely hung it up, and when people saw it, he was like, yeah, I'm so excited.
Right. Now I won't keep you too much longer because we already been here an hour. But with y'all being breeders, are y'all kind of nervous about the reptile bans?
Of course. I mean, honestly, you're nervous as just a reptile keeper, period, because these bans stop everything. And so, Brian slash we have been actively working with and trying to drive as much support as we can to the people like US Art that are helping us fight these battles, because most of these laws are being made out of ignorance, not out of intelligence. Um, and that's the thing, right? If something makes sense, then it makes sense to do it. But the widespread ridiculousness that they're throwing in these laws is just ridiculous, But these animal activist people, that's how they play. Like, honestly, the people making these laws are trying to get them passed don't even want you to have a dog or cat, is the reality, let alone everything else. So um, I think it's really important, whether whether people think it will affect them or not, to really look at this and get behind fighting this, because these legislators know nothing about reptiles. So it's very easy for them to go, oh yeah, they're all bad, and outlaw them all. When the reality is that's not the case, and it's our job to teach them and show them, okay, wait, this is way too much. You know what I mean? And you need to be educated on the truth of the matter, and not just put these blanket laws that will ruin, not only a hobby or a pet trade, or even your just personal right to have a pet, you know. So yeah, I think it's much more than somebody's livelihood of being able to breed and sell something. It goes down to the right of you as a person being able to choose to have a snake, period. And that's where, a lot of people get in the, oh well, it won't affect me, I'm not going to bother about it, when the reality is it will. It'll affect everybody, because it's only one step, and it just keeps going down from there, if unless we show them otherwise.
Right. Now, I don't know how you feel about Venomous, but I am gonna give a shout out to Joe Chaloner. Venom-proof cages, some of the best cages in the business. And he knows y'all personally. Now I have a question, because we're talking about venomous cages and the venomous part of the hobby. Are you nervous for Brian when he's handling? When he's handling venomous snakes, are you just like, no, he's the shit, he's got this? Or do you get kind of nervous when he's, because I know he just got a couple rattlesnakes and stuff like that. Are you nervous when he's handling venomous?
I am not. Over the years, obviously, I know Brian, and way back, in the day, yes, it's just the fact of, it's venomous would scare me. But the reality is, Brian is very smart. He is also very, shoot, the words going out of my head. um, he's knowledgeable, and he is also very caring, and he can see and read animals well. So that's where my not fear comes from, is because I know he's not going to do something careless. You know what I mean? He's always looking at an animal, able to read it, and kind of know, like, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. It's like second nature to him with that. And I know him, and, that he is going to be even more intuitive with an animal like that than he's going to be with an animal that isn't venomous, where it's not as big a deal if he gets bit, because he knows what the result is. So no, like I said, I have perfect confidence when he's doing what he's doing. He's not going to do anything irresponsible, or,
Right.
when it comes to that.
So pretty much when he said, "Babe, I'm about to go get the rattlesnake out," you smack him on the ass and say, "Go get him, Tiger."
Yeah, I'm like, I'll be over here. Go ahead.
Okay, now you got to think about this, and you can't say the Reptarium.
Okay.
What is your favorite place to visit, reptile wise? And I'm talking about like Nerd, Gatorland. I've had Jessica Belko on, JKR Reptiles. What's your favorite reptile place to visit other than the Reptarium?
Oh wow. I'm trying to think. I haven't, believe it or not, I haven't been to as many places as Brian has. I do love Gatorland, was very cool. I haven't been to Nerd since he's been to his new place.
Right.
The last time I was there was prior to where he was located, where he is, and it was a much smaller, less impressive thing. So I would like to go visit his there. So, huh.
So right now, your favorite is Gatorland. You like, this is dope.
Yeah, Gatorland was really cool. I do like, obviously every time we went to a collection, it's all, relative. Like, obviously whoever has their stuff has really cool stuff. Um, but I do like to go to different zoos that we've been to. From the standpoint, it's always cool. Like, zoos are cool in and of itself, but usually when we go, we get a little behind the scenes, so you
Right.
get to see and experience things that normal people don't get to. So, like, we got to do that with what was it, Mario's? Uh, Shoot, I can't remember the name of his zoological wildlife, something like that. He has a really cool place. That was pretty amazing, and the fact that he lives right on site like that, like, that's a life. Like,
Right.
that was
Uh,
pretty cool.
I now I don't have many more questions. Just like one more. Now I want to inspire people, and what I mean by that is, right now, y'all are at the top of y'all game, but it took work to get there. I want you to inspire people, and tell them, what were y'all doing pre-Reptarium days? You know, what was Brian doing? What were you doing before the Reptarium? You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, this is the same thing that, like I said, I talk with, Noah and, other people about is honestly, basically everything is about working hard. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people just want stuff handed to them or want an easy way to stuff. But the reality is you got to be able to put in the work. Um, and I'm a firm believer of if you work hard enough at anything, you can be successful one way or the other, whether it's achieving what you originally thought or because of how hard you work, another opportunity comes and then you direct into that. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes life things will change, but if you're willing to work and put the hours in, then yeah, you will be successful and you'll be able to achieve your dreams. Um, it's not easy, and sometimes you're tired, and sometimes you don't want to do it. But that's when you just got to dig in and keep grinding, keep working hard. And the reality is, the sad thing is, the majority of people won't ever do that. So even if you just do that, you will be miles ahead of everybody else in life. So that in itself will give you the success to
Right.
achieve what you want.
Right. Eli, I agree. Even with my podcast, like I started it because MJ inspired me, and I'm like, I want to do that. So I'm gonna put the work in. I'm gonna message these people, and people actually gave me that chance, and I've been so humble. Even with you, I'm humble. Like I can't be like, whoa, like this is crazy. Now, before I in my interviews, I always say thank you to the people that are watching and some of the supporters in the community that I'm in. So My Animal House, Iron Dog, Cold Blooded Monstars, Not Lou, Sherry, Reptile Feedings, Reese's Pythons, OSM O'Shea, Nikki. It's too many to name. Kurtwood, Todd, K-Walk Constrictors, all great people in the hobby. Y'all make sure y'all go check them out. There's some good people. I'm getting ready to end the interview. We're going to go backstage because I want to tell you thank you personally one more time. So don't leave.
Okay.
I'm going to put us backstage and I'm going to play us out, okay?
Okay.
This has been an amazing hour. And I will say this. I hope that I can keep in touch because I want to do like a woman roundtable, kind of like what MJ did with Ozzy, Justin, and Brian. I want to do a woman roundtable with some of the dope women in the hobby, with like you, Mega Conda, Savannah Bone, and get just 3 power, just people that are women that are leaving a mark. So I hope that you'll be down for that in the future sometime. Not right now immediately, but down the line, I'm hoping that you down to join my women roundtable. Is that something you'd be cool with?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm gonna put us in the background and I'm gonna play us out. Okay, don't leave because I want to thank you. Don't leave. Hold on. Let me see. Remove me. Venom-proof cages. They provide a quality and safety that is unmatched. They are handcrafted and great for venomous and non-venomous snakes. They have a lockable hide box. Keep your snakes in style. Go to Facebook or Instagram and look up Venom-proof cages to place your order. Protect yourself, protect your snake, and protect our hobby.